Hello everyone! In this video we're going to be decorating an apartment here in Evergreen Harbour. This is Pinecrest Apartments number 404, and this is going to be a boho style apartment for a sim who really loves succulents. I wanted it to be kind of modern but also sort of boho, and I just wanted to try and use as many of the succulents as I could. I really tried to use all of the succulents and different cacti that I have in my game. And I think I used most of them. There's some cacti from seasons that have terrible indoor lighting, so I didn't use that, for example. But whenever possible, I did use everything else. I even tried to use all of the outdoor succulents, but that wasn't as successful. But I did use a few of those. But anyway, here in the kitchen, it's going to be very modern, very sleek, kind of neutral. And I really liked using those mirrors as a backsplash, and at first it was looking very simple, but then I decided to create a gallery wall, and that actually changes a little bit later. But for now I am just picking out all of the succulents that I could find in my game. Lots of stuff from the Blooming Rooms kit, for example, such as the shelves, this really cool lamp, but that's not everything that's going to be happening in that kitchen. I will come back to it a bit later, but for now we're just going to be sectioning off this bedroom, and next to it there's going to be this kind of office nook. It's a very simple space, there's just a tiny desk and a bookcase and some stuff like that. I wanted this apartment to be more of a neutral boho, so the items that I am using from Movie Hangout are in the more neutral swatches instead of their more colorful ones. But I also tried to add some green accents, like mostly light green accents, but these books that I am adding are from Tiny Living and they have tiny succulents in them. And actually a lot of the stuff from Eco Lifestyle also has a bunch of succulents, so things like this shelving unit that I am using in the bathroom has succulents. I am also using those like a succulent panel from Seasons, the Tiny Living ones that go on the wall, and also this really beautiful mirror from Werewolves that has some crystals as well as some succulents. And speaking of crystals, the trailer for the new stuff pack just came out today and I am super excited about it. It's called Crystal Creations and it has a new skill which is going to allow you to make stuff out of different crystals and metals that you can find. There's also going to be a crystal tree, and actually the fashion looks really beautiful. The furniture looks kind of dark and witchy, and I am just super excited about it. That's one of my favorite interior decorating styles, you know, just like kind of dark and witchy, which I think it's a funny thing to be mentioning in this video, which is kind of like a modern boho light-filled space with white walls, which is something that I actually almost never do. And I actually don't keep this wallpaper. I change it for some beautiful white bricks from Cottage Living, which it's still pretty white and pretty neutral and you can barely even see the texture, but I just have something about having plain wallpapers in The Sims. I really don't like it. It looks kind of blank to me, and you might have noticed that I am a maximalist, so yeah, I like having detail and texture and color everywhere. It's one of the last things that I do because I really tried to keep it this way, but in the end I just wasn't convinced. But anyway, here we're going to be having this sort of plant nook in which there's going to be a few planters and some bookcases. It's like a reading nook, kind of almost like a sunroom. I don't really know what I would call that space, but I think it's really nice and relaxing. And I did end up keeping stuff for a cat in here. I know that in the bathroom I originally had added a litter box, which I do not keep because it felt like it was a bit small with that very large mirror and the shelving unit, but I do end up having some stuff for a cat, and a lot of it goes in that space that goes behind this living room. But anyway, I made this kind of room divider that has some columns, a spandrel, and then I end up hanging a lot of stuff from that spandrel. And I originally had a half wall in here so that I could add those wall decorations from Eco Lifestyle that I think are very beautiful, but then I knocked that down and just added these bookshelves so that it looks like it's the other side of the bookshelves, because the other side of those isn't very beautiful because it's supposed to go against a wall, but then a lot of the succulents in this apartment go over that bookshelf. And then what I did was that I went looking for all of those hanging succulents that come with nifty niching, and I hung them from that spandrel. But before that, I'm just adding a coffee table and this beautiful side table / wardrobe that comes from For Rent, which is one of my favorite pieces from that pack. It is like really simple, but it has enough detail to make it interesting, like these beautiful metal details and the rattan. It's just like the perfect piece of furniture for these kind of spaces. It can go in more traditional or more modern spaces, I think, because of the materials and the shapes. But I just added a TV to it, as well as a record player. And then I'm just adding some more seating in here, some more plants. I do not use only plants that are succulents in here, but they are like the main kind of plant that you will find in this space. I really love succulents and I really want to have some more of them in my house, but I of course like other plants too, so I was thinking that this sim is partial to succulents, but they also like some other plants. But anyway, now I am adding those hanging plants that I had mentioned, and I think it looks really nice hanging from this spandrel. It does look kind of weird in the screenshots because of the angle that you're looking at them from, and it looks a bit cluttered, but I think that if you are playing in live mode or in like normal build mode angles, it's not going to be a problem. But anyway, I did try to add those outdoor succulents in this corner, and I was thinking maybe I would make some sort of custom planter. I tried to add some fences and some dirt, but I didn't end up liking that, and so I didn't keep it. But I did add these planters, and I decided to size one of those down and just add one of those succulents, which is the same thing that I did for the one that I added in the bathroom. I have just now finished that space, adding some more seating to it, and we're going to be working on the bedroom, which ends up being sort of more cluttered than I was expecting it to be. I am using a bunch of stuff from Eco Lifestyle, a lot of these shelving units, but I am also using those beautiful wall-mounted plants from Dream Home Decorator. And I am using this trick that I used in one of my older videos. It's making this shelf into a closet. So you add these clothes from Dream Home Decorator and they are perfectly placed on the wall, so it looks like they are hanging from this metal rod, and this is completely functional. It will work as a wardrobe, but even if it didn't, there's one of those in the living room, so if you had trouble with this for some reason, there's that one. And there's also a mirror in this space. Actually, there's 3 mirrors in this bedroom, but for the moment I am just cluttering up these shelves. I really like how the Eco Lifestyle stuff comes with a bunch of shelving units, and I think all of them have succulents. It's a bit strange to use all of them in this same space, but it was an interesting exercise trying to use everything and make it look cohesive and just like a nice space that you would like to live in. But here in the kitchen I am adding this wall decoration. It looks like a shelf, and I try to use it as a shelf for some spices. These are the spices that you can get in some of the festivals from City Living, and I'm just using this shelf to place them correctly. But then I decided that I wanted to use the shelf from For Rent, which has some nice plants that are in succulents, but anyway they are still... One of them might be a succulent, but anyway this shelf is so beautiful that I just had to use it. And I did add some of the other stuff from that bag, such as the elephant teapot and the mortar and pestle, I think that's called. And then I just decided to add some more of those beautiful items here in this living room space. I really liked how this entryway looks. I think this is exactly what I wanted to do with this space, and I did add those umbrellas, which I often forget about. But anyway, back in the kitchen I just added some plates, and I decided to move that elephant teapot to the other shelf from the blooming rooms kit. And now I'm just adding some more details to this office space. I think this is a very nice home office corner. I really loved using that room divider from City Living. That's an item that I really like and I rarely use, but when I use it, it just makes me so happy to be able to include it in a space, because it has some very colorful swatches and these more neutral swatches, so it's just an item that is actually kind of versatile whenever you have the need for it, so yeah, in the right space it's perfect. But now we're just going to be adding a few more things to this reading corner plant nook area. I discovered that that plant that I never use from the Blooming Rooms kit is actually a succulent. I think it's called a desert rose, and it looks very weird. It really just looks like tentacles, but where else am I going to use something like that, right? So I decided to include that, and now we are trying to finish this bedroom space, which I think I actually struggled a bit with it because I wanted to include a lot of stuff and the things that I was adding didn't really feel like they fit. For example, this wall looks super cramped with the mirror and everything, and so I tried to have a mirror on another wall, but then I just decided to scoot things over, and eventually I think about sizing that wardrobe down and then everything fits perfectly, but it took me a while to think about doing that. But this wardrobe is really beautiful. It is also from For Rent, and it also has some metal detailing, and the wood is also very beautiful in here, so I thought that it was the perfect piece for this bedroom. And I also added those beautiful paintings from Eco Lifestyle, which I think I probably use a lot. I don't think I overuse them, but I definitely add them every time that I have an artist in a house or something like that, so I was really happy to have a swatch that fit this space perfectly. And then in this other space I decided to add this beautiful chair from Eco Lifestyle. It's one of my favorite chairs ever. I also decided to get rid of that other window because I struggle whenever I try to add some curtains to that window. It is just at a very weird angle, so I'm glad that now we can change the windows in these spaces. But anyway, I have now added that kitty litter box and moved that yoga mat to the other corner, which I felt was a better use of this space, and I also added some more stuff for the cats. I do not know if succulents are poisonous for cats, but I don't have a cat, so that's not something that I have had to Google. But anyway, in The Sims, cats don't get sick from plants. They might get sick from squirrels, but plants are fine. But anyway, now we're changing out those wallpapers that I had mentioned. I added these different wood paneling from Eco Lifestyle, which I felt really tied the space together. And I am adding those bricks from Cottage Living. I add them in the living space in a white and in a beige color in the living room, and then I am just adding some more plants that I might have missed or things that fill the space better. But that's going to be really it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have this apartment on the gallery, so you can download it for yourself if you want to, and I will also make sure to have that link down in the description. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.